digital high seas, we travel with ease until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a very speed hill through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go beyond the outer limits of society, broadcasting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show from WPRPN, and you know, yo ho, on an adventure we go. Knock vessels in the Skullport Harbor, lowland mothers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a drinking guild hall. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go.
Welcome, everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to yet another weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 346. I'm your host, as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. Largely overcast skies here this week via South Korea. Not all that much of a deterrent, however, although the time, our ability to get here on time and kick things off at the top of the hour certainly was. So, weather heavily sprayed, the atmosphere that we're lingering under, or not, is anyone's guess, but several times a week is what we're looking at here, at least if you cast your eyes upward and scan what the skies have to offer. Sometimes things don't entirely add up in accordance with the official narrative. They just don't square. And we're expected to, believe it all, no questions asked, no critical thinking whatsoever. I mean, certainly not my style. I like to, as a natural scientist, perhaps, or someone with a quizzical and critical mind, and the standpoint of endlessly curious and filled with questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how. If certain things don't add up, don't make sense, I wanna know about it, and I want to look a little closer at what's going on. That is historically the role of the journalist, from what I understand, whether working for the large corporate entities and outlets, or lingering as we are down here via the digital underground, our little internet ghetto that we've managed to carve out for ourselves. So WPRPN.com is the website, which, interestingly enough, just so happens to be offline. Why that is exactly, we're not sure. We thought it was a temporary measure. It seemed to be, as far as the information HostGator was providing us with. But we're going to look a little more closely into things after the show. We'll have an opportunity to do that. So, rather peculiar. Hopefully, I have a few answers for you next time we meet. We've got Richard Sauder coming up this Saturday night. If you happen to find yourself based out of the West, Richard Sauder talking about, well, all things regarding deep underground bases and more. There has been a lot come out now, speaking of breaking news, and the way that these things slowly percolate up from out of the underground to the point where it's rather difficult for, if they want to maintain any further credibility, the shred of credibility that they may have as far as the establishment media is concerned, it's not all that easy to look away. So often, what they do, of course, I noticed Tim Pool regarding the UFO, or what some like to call UAP issue. Essentially, the Bob Lazar story, spinning it in a way, framing it in a way which really reeked of disinformation, very disingenuous stance, as if everyone, well, the likes of you out there listening, our audience members and others, are actually all that stupid and unable to think for themselves, essentially, outside of the box, the very same box that they provide for us, the little cookie cutter frame of consciousness, the parameters of discourse, as it were, regarding any one particular issue. And looking forward to that, though. Richard Sauder, deep underground military bunkers, or if you will, bases. Apparently, there has been an attempt or two on his life as well. He finds himself now based out of, I think it's Central America, essentially. So we're really looking forward to this, and hopefully have him, you know, have the opportunity to fill everybody in when we go live here. That's Saturday, this coming Saturday, 8 p.m. out on the West Coast, Pacific Standard Time, 11 if New York, Miami, Toronto, and the like are places that you call home. Sunday here at 12 noon. So let's not forget that we also had our monk friend from out of Sri Lanka join us here this past week as well, and it was doing pretty decent numbers, actually. If you look at, even though we're not live streaming via D Live for some particular reason, not sure why that is, might have something to do with this beam stream outfit. We're going to have to shake things up a little further here, along the lines of what we're doing via the Linux end of things, where we're looking to get, we have broke and essentially, as you say, jailbroken or hacked into our own machine. There probably will, I'm sure, come a time in this idiocratic dystopian future that the technocrats and the technocrat can essentially are, and with their faux singularity, are imposing, trying to all their best to impose on everyone. It's a carrot and stick approach really is what it would seem, wouldn't it? Try to entice and bait, and if that doesn't work, well, then you have to coerce them. There's no choice. You're threatened or somehow compelled or forced, even if ultimately that needs to be done. It's so good for you, of course, it needs to be done at gunpoint. So it's just a real shame. We could do so much better as a society and a civilization. We could do so much better. Canadian government is failing royally. That's the way they want to see things unfold, however, much to the chagrin of people who up to this point in time may have been somewhat patriotic as far as Canada itself was concerned. So looks like I'm flying solo here as well this go around, which is kind of interesting, somewhat refreshing. Don't have to focus on really anything or anyone other than myself, and what key news items we can get to here throughout the course of things. So working with a computer issue at the moment. Maybe just shut this whole thing down actually, and try calling folks up again. We had hoped to maybe get either Kaiser Schuff or Tony Smith on board. Kaiser, of course, a private military contractor with considerable experience in the Middle East and beyond. Someone who's no stranger to the world of intrigue, secret missions, and so forth. Very much done on the down low. So, he shared with us over the years certain insights into his career, his thoughts regarding the work that he's done, the impact that it's had, for better or for worse, and hoping that we can bring him on board here at some point. But in the meantime, we're going to try to shut down. Well, you know what we're going to do? Let's see if we do this here. I think we'll still be able to stream. And no, we have a frozen Skype, formerly known as Skype. Now what conventionally we're being told is been rebranded as Teams. Just imagine the people that are behind this. Oh God, I hate to think, the IT crowd. Ready to service you, sir. My name is Peter Smith. Are you in? Where are you? You're in Canada, Canadian, Bombay, Peter Smith. So just outsourcing, offshoring, downsizing. God, I love it. So, all right, we'll try not to get too distracted by all this, but in the meantime, let's see if we can, bloody hell, there's no way to, right now at this particular moment, shut that down. So bear with us here while we try to take care of this. There's been some people, interesting, speaking of the news, as it were, that have suggested that maybe we just focus a little more actually on playing some music, original music, is what they've suggested. The wife and some of our audience members feel that would have maybe a little more of a positive impact in the way that why it is that I currently find myself here in this position, just as the same way that everyone who's born onto this planet, um, maybe you could say it's a destiny or fate or predetermined in some way or not. But I think there's something to that though. The two most important days of your life: the day you were born, and the day that you realize why it was you were born. So, still working on that, I guess. Work in progress, as a lot of us are. But yeah, we are kind of stuck here. This really is quite lame. It kind of sucks. But see if we can. I don't think there's any way right now of getting this. Bloody Teams is all frozen up, and we can't move it. This is one thing it did a couple weeks ago, I guess. So this utterly bizarre. Yeah, we got it stuck here on the side of the. Oh shit! Now I closed everything. I see. I can't even retrieve that because it's being blocked from the side panel. Oh, that's interesting. Let's try that. There you go. You son of a bitch. Close this down. Come. It won't even close down. Try this. No, it wants to freeze. Status stay frozen. So you go. Okay. So it's, bear with us. But yeah, I mean the Iran business is it's it's a big deal. Of course, there's a lot that we could say regarding that whole matter, along with the schedule. The fact that wow, we've had I think some pretty good guests on just to get the ball rolling here as far as feature interviews are concerned. Kicking things off with Courtney Turner. You should check out her ex social media, along with her Substack, of course, too. She's brilliant, just brilliant. And we didn't get too much into her actual academic career, although I know it is quite, um, I don't know if remarkable is the right word exactly, but, it's impressive, that most very impressive. She performs, she performs at a level academically that most of us really can just dream of. So, and her whole critique and analysis of the techno crack, and it's something we've been meaning to get back to her on. This lay it out there for her directly. She might know about this already. Hopefully, that'd be great. The techno cracking business. Um, just a little kind of catchphrase or term that we coined. We've coined a few things, and I mean, technocracking is pretty much public domain. But speaking of coin, we had crypto coin project that we had launched behind the scenes and ended up getting, uh, I guess we got pirated. It's just the way it goes. It's like, oh, let it go. Like, don't forget, but see where things go essentially with the project. It was Pirate Pay was what they launched actually, having kind of hashed things over and discussed the branding and so forth behind the scenes, these movers and shakers within the world of crypto. Uh, and who knows what's really the head of the snake or what have you. Uh, wouldn't that be a laugh if it was Jeffrey Epstein and his, the Epstein class, as the Iranian regime has so rightly pointed out, drain the swamp. Trump, he talks about draining the swamp. Well, you see, at this stage, he seems a little reluctant to pursue things any further on that front for some reason. I guess it's kind of like what he said to Marjorie Taylor Greene. He doesn't want to cause any trouble with this Epstein class clique of sickos, as it were, because they're his friends. So maybe not the best reason or excuse to give, but that's, I guess, what he did nonetheless. All right, we're going to try this one more time here. This is crazy. It won't, I wonder if Task Manager, are we going to give that a shot? Let's see now. Oh, this might work. It's unresponsive. No, it doesn't even, it's not even registering. Son of a biatch. All right. Well, oh, come on. You see, it won't even. Trying to get too distracted here once again, but let's bring up the talking points. We shared those with the folks here in the Teams chat, and we can bring it to the side here. We got actually two pairs of glasses on this week because we've got our Linux machine up and going, up and running, and for that we need one screen that's close and the other screen is a little further away, so it requires two different types of glasses. But in the meantime, yeah, have you all heard about this? Another $2.3 trillion just happens to be actually 2.5 is the number that was that they were discussing missing from the Pentagon again. This is Moskowitz claims. Moskowitz, what kind of a name is that? Is that an white Anglo-Saxon Protestant? What country would that be originally? I wonder. Moskowitz. Be Polish? Oh, it's interesting. Find a lot of those Witzes and Wises and Steens and Einsens. Einsen. Einsen, Deinsen, twice. So, yeah, so stand by. Be ready for another. Who knows what they've got up their sleeve. It just happens to go missing and is unaccounted for. Whoops. Whoopsie. Maybe there's some. That's a good question for Richard Satter, actually. Another 2.5 trillion officially missing from the public coffers. It's just, hey, it's only money, you know. So, kind of the way that Carney up in Canada pilfered the public coffers, didn't have much of a war chest himself, so he figured, oh, we'll see what the public can offer here as far as funding his campaign, and he's robbed from the Bank of Canada or something along those lines. It was the people's money, but apparently not. And the tune of, my God, is at least $50 billion, somewhere in the neighborhood of, at least it might have been more, $50 billion. You know, they always lowball certain things, of course, too, and then exaggerate the issues and items that are not a big deal. But then, like, lowball, well, it's like, yeah, when they say 2.5 trillion gone missing, it's probably more like 5 or 6. You know, who really knows? And with things like the whole scamdemic, uh, just blow everything out of proportion, cause total fear and hysteria. You know, extraordinary popular delusions and a madness of crowds. What do they call that? Oh, trying to think here now. The not hysteria. The something mass psychosis formation. Is that right? So just it's total, just people just delusional, mental to the extreme, and they're just, I don't know if you know how it is that the masses can be so easily manipulated. I suppose a large part of it is they don't think critically or ask too many questions. They believe everything or most of what they read and see on TV or that shows up on the internet. Especially here in Korea, that's a real big problem where they're stuck. They have this very restrictive reality tunnel, very uh, well, it's inward looking, which I can understand from the standpoint of having to fight, unlike places like Canada, to, what do they say? Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. What a joke that is. My God, it's an embarrassment. This couldn't be any more embarrassing or shameful. So, uh, but here in Korea, we have very much, I'm not sure, parochial, is that the right word? Very inward looking, which is probably easy to understand given the fact of the history and the strategic location within, you know, in East Asia, of course, the linchpin really in many ways. You know, that if the things go sideways in South Korea, look out. You know, Japan, China, USA, you know, the North Koreans, everyone watching closely. But that's why the Yoon's attempted military coup would have, you know, we really dodged a bullet there. The U.S. did. Say what you like about the guy, but my God, can you just imagine, you know, having come as close as what was the case with, you know, being shot, Trump, that is. And no, I personally do not think it was all fake or staged. That's a more mass psychosis formation. And, you know, they took out the sniper, whoever that actually was. You know, it's just that they've got the standard operational procedure for, you know, setting things up, executing what needs to be done, and then covering it all up. Similar, just the way that for like the Kennedy assassination, same thing. What they talk about, he was the CIA, very, you know, central and working to set things up. Who knows what sort of a hand the Mossad had? A lot more than what most people realize. Definitely, given the fact, especially that Kennedy was staunchly opposed to their nuclear pursuits and ambitions. Look where we are now, folks. But Dallas and the Dallas police force instrumental in you know, essentially bungling things. Helping with to conceal and to cover up what had occurred, destruction of evidence and unaliving of key witnesses and so forth. You know, and the FBI as well too. Really very you know, some really inexcusable actions, decisions that were made. So standard operational procedure, time and again, really. But there you go. Yeah, and so with Yoon here, the former president now, I guess he's been sentenced to life in prison. I don't think he's remorseful in the least either. There's no apologies, nothing. His wife was really corrupt too. I'm not clear on what her fate. Well, it's not shaping up to be anything all that. You know, wouldn't want to be in her shoes, essentially. So, but no, it would be really great if we could get a few once again. Let's see, we get the OBS up and running, kind of. Still can't get this damn. We can no. It we've got the this Teams is frozen and blocking everything. I think we did this one other time too, so we can move the OBS around here manually a little bit behind the scenes. Maybe let people take a peek here and see what we're doing. We cannot see any comments at all, any engagement out there via the wider listening audience. And of course, what we're looking at here is we're live. We're live via Facebook and we're live via the kitty the kitty lunchtime portion of the show as well. So calling out in hunger. Oh, he likes that. Yeah, nothing better than a little cat massage. That's right. Yeah. Oh boy, we were just talking about our cats today. In oh, good boy, Danny. Yes. Yeah, you're really definitely into that. So scratch, scratch, rub, rub. There you go. Yeah, a little cat massage. That's what we're talking about today. In fact, in class, just partly why I was, well, it's the main reason I was late getting here, kicking things off, going live. which we really did mostly for Tony Smith, for his sake, because we had talked about. I can move this over now. I might be able to actually read a few messages, see if he's available or alive. See, Zane Ivy is out there. Uh, yeah, you tell him. You tell him, Dan. What's on your mind, Danny? What's on your mind? You tell him. So, yeah, we just had to troubleshoot last night. Actually, some of the live streaming end of things. We got uh, work to do on all fronts, but we're getting hammered too. I mean, my God, what is the website doing down, folks? Come on. That's one thing. The Linux, we can accept responsibility for that. We finally got it back online, kinda. Like I said, we're able to jailbreak or hack into things, and it was just at the point, as regular listeners will know, where I'd sort of thrown my hands up, uh, just resigned, and throw my hands up in the air, resigned to not having the second the second OS and machine device computer online. But it really does help. Now we've got it turned on right now, actually, but we're not. We still got some work to do here. We had been able to pull the browsers up, uh, but and we were on the internet, but now it seems like we're not, for whatever reason, we're not getting allowed back on the internet. We have an Ethernet cable connection. To hell with Wi-Fi. Give me a break. I mean, who the hell really wants Wi-Fi on the brain or any of their vital organs? Seriously, no, no, thank you. I talked to so many Koreans here about this issue, and they're just clueless. They're completely, like, I guess you would say, ignorant, ignoring the fact that, to stop and think that Wi-Fi, it blasts on through your house, apartment building, walls of concrete and steel and so forth, but then just stops and politely asks for permission if it can, you know, maybe navigate its way around you, just quietly make its way around you, begging your pardon for the for the ever so rude interruption or what have you. So yeah, there we go. But I'm not sure. We might just have this run for 1 hour essentially, and call it a day. And that's because of like the technical issues. We're flying solo here tonight. I don't know what YouTube is looking like. That'd be something that would be great to check out on the other through the other device, and in doing so, lessen the load that the CPU on the notebook here has to deal with. So, happy birthday to Danny O'Donnell. That's Pirate Larry's son. All right, good stuff. So, and thank you, Joshua Allen Huckle, Vincent Nunez, and let's see who else. Oh, geez, we got some good reactions here. But yeah, the photo that we're running with here is essentially conveying the fact, or suggesting, basically the picture we're painting here is that, like it or not, Trump is Netanyahu's bitch. And I hate to say it in such strong words, but that's just, look at the facts, folks. Hashtag Epstein files. Hashtag compromat. Like, I guess it's time to start a war, and that's what these people do. I mean, even Epstein himself knew that. You know, that. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, like cornered like a rat, I think, is what the way that he, how he put it. Essentially, good old Jeffrey. That's if Trump found himself in a position where he uh, ended up being cornered like a rat. That, watch out, he would go to war with Iran. By the way, fun fact: is everybody up to speed on? Here's something for you in case you weren't aware. Uh, Netanyahu, for the longest time, any time I think it's New York. He's in New York down through the years. Guess whose bed he was sleeping in? Not sure what this was all about, but and hopefully the you know uh, Jared, yeah, Jared was not present and he found other accommodations. But yeah, Netanyahu was stayed at the Kushner's, the good old, is it 666 Madison Avenue? Madison, yeah, Madison. We are not the Antichrist Avenue. So the Frankist Sabbatean death cult, it's like the world need. If there's one thing they reckon the world needs more of, it's misery and suffering. So everything that's up really is down. Everything that's left is right. Good is evil, and so forth. So yeah, to help somebody out or to do anything decent is in these people's minds. The Sabbatean Frankist cult, followers of Sabbatai Zevi and Jacob Frank and the like. I could, yeah. Hopefully, I'm not branded overly anti-Semitic, daring to point these things out. What a farce that term is too. It means nothing really. It just means nothing. I wonder if that's the reason. I often think about Orwell's 1984, Emmanuel Whatstein. Is that what was he indicating there? What was he getting at? What was he trying to tell us? That's quite a name there. So maybe, did he know something that we didn't? But no, Netanyahu was sleeping in Jared Kushner's bed for years. As far as I know, as far as anyone ought to be concerned, he probably still does. Who the hell knows? But I mean, not only does that show how the relations that these people have on a personal basis. Carlin's reference regarding it's all a big club and you're not in it. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day, telling you what to think, who to vote for, what to buy. And the endless list of things and beating you over the head. That's if you don't take the cheese, of course. We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way. Carrot and a stick. So let me see what's going on here. Bloody hell! I can't bring that over. I can only see a part. Son of a bitch! Oh, it's really pissing. It's pissing me off. It's more just frustration. It's not like it's overly. It's pissing me off. Uh, Frozen son of a bitch. It's non-responsive. It won't do anything. Oh, hang on. Nah, doing jack diddly squat. So apologies there, folks. Vicky Toner. Let's see. Do we have to put a different pair of glasses on? I guess we do. That's the case. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for your advice. You're such a smart little kitty cat. Are you lying on my glasses? Are you lying on my glasses, little bugger? So here they are. Oh, jeez. Just reached the stage of my life where if my head wasn't screwed on, I'd probably lose that too. So I've had a reboot about this something or another business plan. I really do something business. He's full on freak, is what Vicky says here. And then I think he's something that's going to make him the way to run a government, something world. Rose Redmond responds, really, apologies here, folks. Let's close that down. It's a judging now. Maybe I can make the browser a little smaller. See if that helps a little bit. So yeah, I think we're gonna shut it down though here shortly. Where are we at time wise? We can't even see the damn clock. There we go. It's one. So we'll go to the bottom of the hour tops. Just spitballing here, people. And apologies once again. I mean, on Facebook, we can see a few of the comments coming our way, which is great. YouTube, um, not right now. Well, I guess we could open YouTube and see what's happening there. We're not too pleased with Restream either. They're jacking us around. It shows us is not even being live anymore, but we are. That's the thing, right? So there's no indication. Nope, 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 nope. Let's see. And then on YouTube, of course, we should be going live through Restream, but we're not. So maybe StreamYard. I'm not sure if that would replace Restream or what exactly here, but we're thinking that maybe just bring it on board. Why the hell not? And here we go again. This is bullshit. Episode 361, Courtney Turner. This is so wrong. We've worked on this time and again. Time and time again. Jeez. We fixed this last night. We had it updated. It still wants to do the Courtney Turner 361. So that's kind of annoying, man. It really is. We've done this on just a number. We've gone wherever we could. Let's see if we can mute ourselves out there. Bye bye. Yeah. So, all right. Well, you can edit it here in real live time as well. That's a bonus. Try to do that. God, we're just hamstrung on so many fronts, but we're still here. It's kind of like what we were talking about in class today. Winners never quit, quitters never win. There's a lot of truth to that, You just, so many people, or in history, look at history, the way that people have attempted to produce quality products, services, goods, inventions, items, innovations, and they're frustrated to no ends. But then finally, after seemingly failing time and again, they have a breakthrough, and a positive, like a step in the right direction. They have some insight into the problem, and they're able to make some progress. So there we go. But let's see. Ah, bloody hell. This is really. What else can you do but laugh, right? You can't move nothing. It is non-responsive to task manager or anything here. This is just, it's a bloody Teams too. Bloody Teams. Sacre bleu en français. My God. In Korean, 짜증나. 짜증나 죽겠어. I won't tell you what that means, although it's kind of a way of expressing a little frustration. So, hoping everyone is doing well, of course, as always. Not sure what you've got planned for the weekend or how your week itself has been going. Us here in Korea, we are working a little more now, which is nice. We've finally managed to pick up a little bit of, employment for the time being, mostly going towards what else but covering rent. Yeah, good luck if you can have anything left over for groceries or savings. I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous. What are those interest rates at, anyways? Well, there was a time a couple of years ago with negative interest. Is that right? Damn, just parasites, bloodsuckers. Yeah, Jared Kushner, man, you candidate for the Antichrist. That would be him. I would say. I might be wrong, but I say, yeah, he would serve as a pretty decent candidate. Trump, the beast of the apocalypse. I've seen a few people on social media over the last little while suggest that, oh, maybe he's the Antichrist. I don't think so. No, he's definitely. If ever there was a candidate for the beast of the apocalypse, it would be Donald J. Trump. And he does ride around in a beast too, doesn't he? That's what they call the armored vehicle. I'm not sure if it's a limousine or what exactly, but with official, wherever it is that he finds himself, any president, of course, post Kennedy, I guess. It took that whole business with the killing of Kennedy to uh, kind of make it clear to the establishment, essentially, the political establishment of Washington, that maybe it was time for a bit of an upgrade, safety measures, protection of El Presidente. So, all right, take this, YouTube, you sons of bitches. How's that for an update, bastards? God, just I don't know what the hell's going on. And because with Restream, we updated it from Restream. We deleted everything else, all the drafts and everything. There was only this one show, and okay, change is saved. Good for that. I'm gonna shut that down. The burden, basically what it the CPU, central processing unit, and what it has to put up with to with so many browsers and social media platforms or programs open and running. So, God Almighty. See, yeah, Restream, we're offline. I don't know what is going on. That just makes no sense at all. But yeah, we're doing a pretty good job at you know uh, I'm not sure we say flailing away necessarily, but persisting here via the digital underground, the internet ghetto once again that we've carved out for ourselves. And as we so often say, these are high, intrepid digital seas that we find ourselves having to navigate. So it's not an overly enviable position to be in, but somebody's got to do it. And for the longest time, I had no interest in live streaming or doing any podcasts or anything. And there's a whole backstory to how it all came about and what got me on the path, as it were, to pursuing this. Now, I'm not going to get into it in a big way. Maybe if we had AWOL Aaron on board, uh, we could unpack a few more things for you as far as the whole backstory is concerned. So, but yeah, here we are, fresh coffee. Cats mostly sedated, all three of them. We got the one here, special needs Danny, of course, hit by the car. He lost half of his leg, his rear back leg, but he motors around the premises here without too much difficulty. Does a great job. Just hate to see him getting arthritis in the only other leg that he's got. So he's quite a character. He's very vocal, and definitely his own unique personality, as do the other two. For any cat lovers out there, actually, Jackson Galaxy, My Cat from Hell, that's the show to watch. Jackson Galaxy, My Cat from Hell. So he's a fellow musician and musician by night, and kind of a cat whisperer by day, behavioralist. So it is really interesting to study, to be mindful, aware of. They're all adopted, of course, from the streets. We all had them, to get fixed at the right age. And what was that all about? We got somebody pinging us. Not sure. So apologies once again if we're not able to respond to your messages, queries, comments, or what have you. That's just the way this is going to have to go. One more reason why we like to get that Linux up and running, which it kind of is, but it's more in recovery mode. right now than anything else. So, but we're here in real life time, is what it would seem, and doing our best to stay the course, to connect with our listeners, let you know that things are going relatively okay for us here. Thankfully, we via South Korea, we realize that there's a lot of you out there. Everyone struggles, of course. Every day, we've got our challenges and things that we need to overcome, psychologically, spiritually, physically, financially, and so forth. So, but I've got my way of doing the best to problem solve, and keeping trying to do my best to remain relatively sane in an utterly insane world. Or have you not noticed? My God, what a gong show! What a clown world! So it's no wonder both Christ and Buddha were, I don't know if you say cynical or not, but they saw how ridiculous the whole thing was, and this is not the place to be. This is not this is not this is not my home. I am not of this world, kind of deal. I'd have to look more into that quote. It's quite fascinating, though. It almost would suggest the guy was an alien or a hybrid, Jesus. So both him and Buddha, though, it seems, they definitely were not. Buddha renounced the world, as did Christ. They both renounced the world. Store not your treasures up upon the earth, where moths, and thieves can break in and destroy, to take all that you love and hold dear. Rather, store them in heaven, where now I'm just paraphrasing here, but your good deeds will be recognized. So a lot of it for me comes down to expectations versus reality. One of the secrets, of course, just lower our expectations. It's why I so often, today is a different day, of course, but so often it's a healthy dose of the fuck it all pill. Has everyone seen this? The fuck it all pill? Robin Williams, he talked about it, so you can look it up if you're interested. It's kind of it's an interesting little bit that he did. FUKITOOL. Fuck it all. I don't think that's been trademarked either. I'd like to we should get that on some coffee mugs. Definitely get that on coffee mugs and t-shirts. Time to talk to Sonia. So Sonia Galactic, who's now relocated to Texas, from Phoenix, Arizona, down to Fort Worth, is what she's talked about. So, and planning on heading out, hitting the. Oh, who do we got there? We got someone, but hey, speak of the devil. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah, I cannot. I'm totally. Do you know I'm frozen here? I'm totally frozen, right? Hey, you might be able to help. By God, hang on, hang on. Let's see. I'm gonna try. Just yeah, that's great. You showed up. Maybe I can now. I can finally move this around. I don't know. No, it still wants to be frozen for some reason. But Sonia, hey, I was just talking about you. That is how trippy is that? Yeah, we're just talking about you relocating down to Texas. Oh, hold it. Unmute your
Is my audio
channel. There we
okay?
go. We had to unmute your channel. Sorry about that.
Is, is
Go
my
ahead.
audio okay? Is that okay?
Uh, yeah, it's relatively all right.
It's all right? Okay. Good.
Yeah. By the way, that's our monk friend from Sri Lanka that we were referencing earlier. Is it KS Teto? I think is it's Bhikkhu Bante. Reverend Teto is the simplest
Okay.
way of referring to him. He's got a difficult name. You know, it's like the Muslim names, where they're so long and strange to English ears usually, right? So, but he's a cool guy, definitely, definitely. How are you doing? What's up? What's the latest? What would you like to talk about briefly here? We might extend things a little further, given the fact that you've shown up. Are there any hot issues you like to discuss? Besides, of course, anything. The hottest thing I can think of right now is anything dealing with Sonic Galactic.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Yeah. Uh, the only thing that's coming to mind really is that uh, recently there has been the idea of, and I guess it has to do with the seraphim or the angels, the biblical type of angels, where there's in Revelations where there's like major eyeballs coming off of these creatures. Apparently, they're made up of just.
Oh shit! Did I just drop the call? No, way to go. Ooh. Hang on, folks. Just monkeying around here. Monkeying around here with let's see if we can get her back on. Actually, that might have unfrozen. No? Let's see. Oh, you bastard. It will not, it refuses. You know, we can move this over though, too. This is what we can do. So where the heck is now? Okay, we've got to call her directly, is what we got to do. Son of a gun. Hang on. Bear with us, folks. Bear with us. No. Hang on. Why is that not? Okay, here we go. Show participants. Add participants. What's over here? Roger Hansen is there. That's great. We're seeing Roger typing away. Naroki 5 as well, too, who is, I guess, this is something that kind of irks me a little bit when people that are part of our network live stream when we're doing shows. Like, that's called stepping on each other's toes. Like, shouldn't be doing that. When we're done this show, we'd be happy to come over and join you as in a co-host capacity. That's not a problem. But we got to get clear on this, and this has happened more than once, unfortunately. So, what's going on here? This is just nonsense. Maximize, show more people. We're trying to invite. Oh shit! We're trying to invite to have people. It's been a while for us using Teams, but son of a bitch. They will. We can get them back on board here. So go grab a coffee or something if you want, folks. Not a problem. What did he say? What did he say? And what is Danny saying? Okay, yeah, I'll be with you here. I'll be with you here shortly. Add people. God almighty. I don't understand. Like, there's no. Are they? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Yeah. This is bizarre. Okay, now I got to take this here. It's going to freeze up. Let's try this here. I don't care if it does either. Oh, here we go. That's what we needed. It's exactly what we needed right there. Maybe chat. No. What the hell? These bloody amateurs. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. What the hell is Michelle doing there? This is weird. Hey, where the hell are we? Are we in the? No, that should be that. Oh, jeez. Fuck's sakes. There should not be 81 people in this room. That's ridiculous. Maybe 81 people that we've talked to all together. I guess makes some sense. All right. Well, that is just wrong. Chat. We've got no. It looked like Roger was trying to. Oh, hang on. Is there 81 people? Fuck it. Closing that down. All right. Not a problem. Not a problem. Danny, we'll be with you momentarily. We'll be with you momentarily. Yeah, okay. Come here, baby. Yeah. Big baby. Come here. Don't be a baby. Oh, he's such a whiner. He's demanding, you know. That's just how some cats are. But we love him. Come here, peckerhead. Sonia,
Hello.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Roger's out there too, wanting to get in. I clicked on the wrong button and then I couldn't find my way back in. Sorry about that, but okay, we're good to go. A great avatar, by the way.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh well. Thanks.
Yeah. No, and
It's
what
my
is
normal one, as far as I can tell.
what is up? Whoa! What is up with that crown chakra thing? You see that?
Well,
is
it's just the crown. It represents
No.
thinking about stuff all the time and being able to have like downloads and integrate that, or at least
Okay, hang
try
on.
to.
I'm gonna put the share on, so it might
Right.
freeze up or who knows what. So do this audio optimize for playing video. That's a new feature. So let's see if we can you see yourself now? We got Roger there too, by the way. God almighty, now it's gonna do this again. Oh, maybe not.
Yep.
Okay, Roger.
I'm just stopping.
There we go.
I'm just stopping in to help out because I knew he was having issues. So that's why I was doing the
Hey,
calls.
Raj.
Maybe it helps.
Oh, it looks good now. No,
But,
that's
I-
Yeah. Sweet.
Thank you to both of you. Go ahead, Roger.
Mhm.
That was the only thing I wanted to say.
Oh,
but
okay. I'm gonna get myself on camera because I know how much Sonia really loves that. She needs that.
I do love that.
she was getting
Absolutely.
mad. She was getting mad in chat. She was getting ready to like punch you in the throat.
Really? Ruggedly
Yeah.
handsome. I finally figure out. How would you say Jaffe? Ruggedly handsome? Or no, not
There
quite.
you go.
Ruggedly.
There you go.
Absolutely
Oh,
ruggedly.
ruggedly?
For sure.
Really? But there's a
Absolutely.
softness. I think a character has
There is kind of a softness.
but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not too faggy, is it?
No, but I don't want to talk about it on air. So
Oh. So we're getting like into like XXX rated kind of territory or what?
I'm just not altogether sure how Korea's treating you, kind of thing.
You want to try to entice me into getting on a jet plane and hopping over to Texas?
Well, that was like a year and a half ago. So
Oh,
She's
yeah?
moved on. Yeah,
sure-
she's
I'm
in
sure they wa-
Texas now, dude. Like,
She's what?
she's in Texas now. Like,
Yeah.
you can't compete with a Texan, dude.
Well-
Seriously.
Yeah. Have you? Speaking of which, I was just watching a
Good point,
documentary
Raj.
last night. How bad is and Trump is totally playing this to the hilt. That those the F1 visa or with a temporary visa or work visa or you have it's the gaming of the system. They do the same fucking thing in Canada too. The Liberal Party, it's like how they maintain power. You get your immigration status taken care of. You become a citizen of the U.S. or Canada. Then you start bringing mom and dad and all the aunts and uncles and cousins and just everybody you grandma, grandpa, everyone else along with you. So over to the new world, and it's more than a cottage industry. It's a real it's pretty corrupt. I think it seems pretty corrupt, definitely, and rotten. So Texas, though, I was watching this documentary yesterday, and it was talking about. I wish I could remember the name. Someplace in Texas where they were just flooding it with Indians. From
Yeah, well, it's kind of already happened, I think. I mean, where are they getting these Indians? I mean,
we're
they
not
already
talking.
live here.
We're not
They
talking.
already live here.
We're not
Okay.
talking First Nations. Yeah, I know, but yeah, we're not talking First Nations or anything either. Just people from India,
Oh,
because it's like, you work for how
oh,
much
the
money?
other Indians.
Yeah,
Okay.
you work
I
for
see.
how much money? Oh, great.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
happened
cheap-
across
cheap-
America. It's long
Sure.
gone. I mean, that's been happening for quite some time.
Exactly, and it will continue into the foreseeable future. That's just the nature of the beast.
I don't know about all that, but
Oh, it will. Mark my words. Look.
Alright,
It's
Mark.
what it's called. It's called the global reset, but it's also the global leveling. Okay, that's the plan. That's what agenda that they've been pursuing now for some time. So that the first world is brought down to the level of essentially down to the third, and then maybe rise back up again, and everything is on par. It's like communitarianism is really through the UN and these globalist institutions and agencies, and immigration, weaponizing of immigration. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? You look at the UK and Europe, and it's the Kalergi plan. If you haven't looked that up, folks, I think Roger's familiar with the Kalergi plan, and
Yeah.
the so-called Great Replacement. Canada, USA, same thing.
I do want to say I was impressed with you having the Buddhist episode the other day. That was excellent.
Oh, really? How
Yeah, that
were
was
you able
good.
to understand his English very well?
Well, you have to take it slow, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But if you take it slow, it made sense. It was good.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he's part of that's the original the Buddhist tradition path, essentially, lineage and schools, what it's known as, the Theravadan the way of the elders, essentially, is what it's known. And Terra as in maybe therapy or therapeute, like as in therapy, because if you think about
Terra's
it,
supposed to be Earth, though.
pardon me.
Terra is Earth, though.
That's right.
Right?
Okay. Hey, not to touch the earth. What's the first thing that the Buddha did when he became enlightened?
He sat under a tree.
No, he was already sitting under a tree.
Oh, yeah.
The Bodhi tree. What's the first thing that he did? He reached down and touched the earth. And I think that's why Jim Morrison, he wrote that song. Maybe he's like, oh, I'll just invert it, not to touch the earth, run. You know, what was it?
I think it's a little different with that, though, because what I think he meant was something a little bit different, to where it's that we don't mingle with their dimensional reality as much as other folks do who are not quote unquote enlightened.
Morrison or the Buddha?
Yeah, Morrison. Well,
I'd have to look at the lyrics. I'd have to look
that.
at the lyrics and see maybe what
And
he
not
was.
to touch the earth, not to see the sun, nothing left to do but run.
Right.
That's right.
Well, if you can
Yeah,
get
run away from this motherfucker, kind of thing.
if you can get in touch with Otto, man, he's got direct contact with Panabasa.
Yeah, we've had Panyabasa Bhikkhu on the show, and I'd be happy to have him back again. In fact, I'm gonna, we're waiting for Otto. Yeah, so patiently.
Yeah,
and patience is a virtue its own reward. Interesting how that works, eh? You know, so I like that. Patience is a virtue its own reward. That's like is that a solipsism? I think is maybe what it's called, something like that. Kind of like what we did today in class with the adults. Well, I'm not sure about Mark Passio. I was thinking about him today. Don't know what to make of him. Like, he's really bright, really capable, very
all you got to do is watch a few videos and you'll kind of get it.
Yeah, but very, of course, very well. He's a former Satanist. I'd like to know more about this, because like, I'd like to know, where does he stand now then, philosophically? What is he, just Mark Passio? Like, it's a Mark Passio religion or what?
Go to his website and just check it out. I mean,
you know, we had someone who was part of his kind of cult as the great. Because make sure, you folks, you just kind of mute yourselves out when you're mucking around there, not talking. Oh shit! There goes Roger's gone for the door, probably.
It's gonna be okay, Jeff.
Yeah, okay, he's muted. No, but Mark's a Facebook friend, but he won't talk to us. You know.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot going on, you know.
Well, yeah, he does. But if we were like Alex Jones or somebody, you'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, we can talk to you. Sure, yeah. No problem.
It's the more viewers kind of thing they go for.
Look at Courtney. Well, to hell with the viewers. Not personally, but as far as the numbs go, no.
Oh my god, I can't even believe you just said that.
Yeah,
that's not even cool.
I didn't say fuck the listeners.
I said, might as well have.
No. Okay, I should say,
to hell with listeners. That's the same thing.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear. It's the numbers. It's the hello. It's the numbers and the way that some people, some shows, they buy their viewers. They buy the views. You know that. We don't buy nothing. Everything here is organic, totally just grassroots, au naturel. And if people want to listen and hang out and connect and leave comments, like, share, which we appreciate, all of our viewers and everyone that comes on board leaves comments, talks to us. That's exactly the opposite of what you're trying to yeah, expose. Yeah, Jaffe secretly hates the people that support him. Yeah, right. So, but did you see, speaking of which, no, I got Courtney Turner, speaking of views and whatnot, her, it's gravitas, really, social media, it's like pull basically is part of it. And, but we don't really work it though. We don't pursue it in a big way. It's just, if my way I was thinking about this today before going live, it's like, it is what it is, man. And it'll just let it happen naturally or organically, very Taoist, so, but, Courtney Turner, I have high regard for her. One of the reasons is not only her ability, her intelligence, and her insight, and her so many issues that she's able to critique and break down, have clear sense of, but also because she did connect with us. Others, like her buddy Matt Arrrrrrr, we sent him an email, and he just I guess either didn't see it or wasn't interested and ignored, because we asked him if he'd come on as a guest last year, and that was about as far as it went. Nothing. But she, on the other hand, she's class, man. She's total class. And because she's a busy lady, and look at her social media. I'd like you to talk to her actually and see if you could pick up, if she will, and she might a little bit, to ask her about like her tips with social media, because we do need help with the RSS, and I don't want to spend much time talking about this, but the RSS and the SEO, the search engine optimization, is really something we need help with. By the way, Roger, you'll be happy to hear if you're there. I think you're back from the washroom, fridge, or whatever. That we've got Linux up and running, but it's kind of. But we managed to jailbreak and hack on through, and we've got it, but it's kind of in recovery mode at the moment. So, but we have managed, we're talking about that stupid circle that just kept spinning. We couldn't get on past that. We finally have everything set up, and we managed to get past. We tried this Rufus thing. Maybe we should try it again. I don't know. We've got a disk burnt though. It's plugged into the other machine. And it did boot up once or twice, and I tried to go into is it DOS, where you kind of like F2 go into the DOS and then set it so you move it up in the ranking, so it's like number 1, so when the computer boots up again, that's what you want it to pick up the CD, right? And it seemed to have worked in the past, but now it's just kind of ignoring it. It's not really clicking. So I like to maybe I got to keep working at it, and I'm trying to figure out the best approach. We've got internet, but now the bloody browser's not loading, and the application store is not really working that well, and things like that. I would have liked to have had browsers up so that we could have Facebook and YouTube, and even figure out what the hell's going on with D Live. Thank you for your insight a couple days ago there, Sonia. I was on top of that. Now,
are you good with USB drives?
Good.
Yeah, kind of.
Now you can use what they call an iOS with a USB drive, and be able to do that without using a disk.
Okay. Well, yeah.
eCreator. If you go on a site called eCreator, you can get Windows or Linux.
Send the link, please. I'll try it. Yeah, I got But one funny thing too we've been having here with this bloody computer, something's really weird. I'm not sure what the deal is. This notebook. Oh, the cat's freaking out. He's demanding food. So give me the wet stuff. Give me the wet stuff.
I know how that is.
Give me the wet stuff.
My cat's kind of the same.
He's like, Danny, just wait. We gave you that. We fed you this morning. It's like we're not. Oh Christ Almighty. So just send a link and we'll try to pursue that a little further. Let's look. I think I'm just gonna kind of wrap up shortly here. We've got two of you on board. We've got Richard Souter coming by this Saturday night, and he's all about deep underground military bases. And also, we're probably going to get into the alien hybrid issue, which has been making the news as of late. Tim Pool, as I was mentioning earlier, I think he's he's disinformation and disingenuous with this whole business. He's like Bob Lazar. He's like, yeah, Bob Lazar. Well, Bob Lazar, probably just not really buying it and fake and making up the story.
Yeah, but who is he, right? But who is he, right?
Bob Lazar?
No, fucking Tim Pool.
He's a well-paid. He's behind the scenes. He meets with Netanyahu. He has met. I think he's met with that Reuben.
And there you have it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's yeah. But it's all a big club, and who else? Dave Rubin has met with Netanyahu, and Joe Rogan will not have him on the show. And as I was mentioning earlier, like Bibi, who really is running, it's like President Bibi. Right. Yeah. What an awful person. Just an awful person. But he's a Rothschild asset. Well, and he's a very, they really, he's an important Rothschild asset. And that's who founded Israel. Where did it, how did it originate? And the whole history of them working together with the Nazis. Oh my God. So politics making for strange bedfellows. You ever heard that one before, folks? Politics making for strange bedfellows. The Zionists working with the Nazis? No. That's the Holocaust? No.
You see, when you go away for a real long time and come back, you get real excited.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's all I had to say. Like, you're so excited right now.
Yeah, he is. That's right. That's right, Reg.
He's like on freaking crack, but he's not a crackhead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on kitty crack. That's all kitty crack.
There you go.
There's different types of crack. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's good that you're happy though. You're I could tell you missed being on the stream.
But we're gonna try to do things twice a month. It's tough. It's tight for me, my schedule. I come back after working. I got to have launch things right away. If we can get that Linux machine going, I tell you, it's so much smoother. That was a relief to get that finally. Because I just said it's a big healthy dose of the fuck it all pill. Which reminds me, Sonia, this is what we're talking about. We'd like that on a T-shirt and a coffee mug. Have you seen the fuck it all bit that Robin Williams does? F-U-K.
I think so.
Actually. F-U-K-I-T-O-L. Let's see if we can maybe. Well, geez, I could find it on YouTube and then play it. I guess it's pretty funny. It's
I have a couple new T-shirts coming out actually that are more in that area there. It's a lot different from what I've ever put out before, but here I am. I'm influenced, by my friends out here. So, do you want to hear them? It's very R-rated actually. So,
what are you talking about? Hear who?
A couple of T-shirts that I'm going to be putting out.
Oh, go ahead. Just you might have to kind of roll yourself out when you're kind of if it's over the top
sure.
because
it's very R-rated.
Say it with a sexy voice.
Okay, I'll try. Right.
Go for it.
One of them is I love sluts, if that makes any sense.
Yes, sluts. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'll say it for you.
Do you know where that word comes from? Comes from? Just change the U to insert if you'll spare the pun. An O. Exchange the U for an O. And what do you got? Slot. You got slot. And there you go. Slot, and then it's a slit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's probably where it originates from, right?
Well, and yeah, our
Arabic.
language does appear to be coded, does it not? All language
Well,
is
of course.
coded,
Of course.
programming,
You know,
coded.
I mean, that's
Where
kind of
did-
how this place rocks.
Where does it come from? Who makes this shit up?
No, I don't think
And then there's another one. There's another one. Are you ready to hear the other one?
Okay,
The
yeah.
other one's a little more brutal, I guess. On the front, it says, fuck me. And on the back, it says, then leave.
Find him, fucking forget him. You heard that one? Find him, fucking forget him.
It's kind of like that,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, these are not my inspired t-shirts. These are my friends' inspired t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
You know, the coolest t-shirt I've ever read.
Go ahead.
It's practice birth control. Take it up the ass.
That's what Islam's all
cool?
about. That's what
that is a cool freaking t-shirt, and
that's
what wear it,
I guess
dude.
if
what do you think
birth control would mean, that would mean heterosexual right there. Birth control would mean hetero.
No, this is a shirt that chicks wear, dude. They loved it. It's like support birth control, take it up the ass, and like chicks wear this shirt. It's not something that guys wear. Like
it's an Illinois thing. Apparently.
No, I mean it's everywhere, dude. It is everywhere. I've seen
but it's true because Islam. That's how that you can still remain a virgin even though you've been sodomized. You can in their eyes as no really no. I'm serious. You have no idea. It does seem funny, but no, to the Muslims though, the Islamic world, they're very familiar with that whole business. It's because you've not been violated via the other orifice, the main baby making orifice. So yeah, there you go. Well, that's just and so that's what they do when they're like a young couple, for example. That's like rather than getting them pregnant, it's just bang the hell out of that butthole.
I don't know if I mean, like ass is supposed to be a worse word, but I just don't. I can't handle the word butthole.
How about poop shoot? Poop shoot.
That's better than butthole. I just don't know why. It's just like butthole. Butthole is just like take it up the butthole. You know, like what?
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, dude.
Well, how about a-hole? A-hole is pretty. It's pretty to the point.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
better.
And pretty blunt and in your face. Ooh. So yeah.
Did you say in your face?
Yeah. That's right. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Okay, it's laughable. It's kind of gross too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look, we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna end it. Just remind people that. Oh, look, there's that kitty that wanders back and forth across. He's a border. He's a real outlaw. That guy, back and forth across the border. And good old Ben Gurion. How did he feel about the Kennedy assassination? Huh? He's probably really broken up, wasn't he? JFK was a big supporter of Palestine, I guess, and he knew the threat that Israel posed. So, and the fact that Mossad's role in his killing, just start with Jack Rubenstein, the Oswald's alleged killer, right? Jack Ruby, real name Rubenstein. He's a Jewish mafia he's been apparently running guns, so the story goes, to the Middle East since 1955. And LBJ since the mid-40s, Lyndon Johnson had. And Lyndon was a crypto Jew. I guess he was a Sephardic lineage. And no, I mean look, the whole sinking of the USS Liberty and what they were trying to that false flag psyop, trying to engineer, to bring about, basically. And it would have been something along the lines of maybe where we find ourselves here today. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on what's currently taking place? Iran they're really trolling Trump, aren't they? Like they're saying, oh, there's bomb. But he's, the thing is, he's actually, they're going for what? Strategic, kind of like military targets, infrastructure, and so forth. Is that right? So, which is, I mean, it would be hell. Like if you're targeting civilian targets, there would be far much more outrage. Clearly, but that's Israel's, that's Netanyahu's kind of mo. That's his. Oh well, there was some Hamas that was were hiding out there. We had to destroy that hospital or that elementary school because that's or the mosque, of course. So that's their excuse endlessly. But just total psychopaths, man. Just total full blown psychopaths. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, that's the thing is you go inward. You go inward. Don't worry. I mean, the outer space is what it is. Turn, turn around. Turn your gaze inward. The inner space universe is mind blowing, really. And that's if we can get that well, that's where the word saint, I believe, comes from, where sanitized, right? Sanity, and it's not like you're doing anything with the world so much as you're just working on yourself, getting your own shit together, and leading by example. So, hey, it's like this. The monk the other day told us about the bodhisattva business compared to what they have. They have the arhat, which I'm not that clear on. It's a different way and approach. So they focus mostly on themselves. I don't know if they can really, how much they help others. They do, but the bodhisattva is really crazy because you take a vow where you agree. This is nuts. To keep being reborn, returning to Earth to help liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. So that's like insects and everything, which is very much not just people or animals, but insects and every living being to help liberate them from uh, their confusion, mental confusion, and suffering. So
Right.
good luck. Like that's just crazy, man. You talk about being like that's the wheel of samsara, the wheel of rebirth, right? The cage, as it were, the matrix cage. So that I wonder about, like with the Gnostic, the archons, that see, the demiurge is not really. It's something that the Buddhists are very wary or leery of, because in many ways that whole the demiurge notion or concept, the Godhead, as it were, is very much along the lines of Yahweh, as what we're most familiar with in the West, and that's just totally nuts. Like it's bloodthirsty. I'm a jealous God. I mean, what kind of who the hell? What, like, really is that? I mean, that's it doesn't sound overly. Is that the best we can do? And why? It's ridiculous needing to pray to some jealous, wrathful, insane entity. Like that's a little peculiar. That doesn't make any sense at all, really. So you can see why these other traditions rose up. The Gospel of Thomas is really interesting. Those Gnostic, especially the Gnostic of Thomas, very much like the Taoist tradition, very Taoist influence you can see all over.
I've actually had some pretty good conversations with these religious people, man. Like they've been really like Otto. I've been having him on with Tan, and Tan's Catholic,
Yeah,
and he's Buddhist.
He's Buddhist as well.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
Otto is Buddhist.
Otto is.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
You would love him, Jeffy.
Oh, I've spoke to him briefly, but we're waiting to get things in line.
And then Otto's Buddhist, and Tan is Catholic, and it's like they and then I'm just all whacked out, when it comes to the whole. All I believe in is what I read and I research. I don't feed into none of that other stuff, and it's really interesting, because you start understanding stuff like the Axis Monday. If you relate the Axis Monday with Buddhism, and then you look at Christianity, you can see clearly where it is. Like,
what do you mean?
For Christianity, the Axis Monday would be Jesus on the cross. Where with Buddhism, it would be Buddha under the what
Bodhi
was the
tree?
name of that?
Bodhi
The
tree.
Bodhi tree.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And it's really interesting. It really is.
Oh, I see. Like the way that, and with religion, the word, it means to bind or to tie something. So you tie yourself to these things.
The Axis Monday is the central point where everything it originates and where it's all created, and then it's also released into the cosmos.
Monday is Earth, right?
Right.
Interesting. Moon.
And the Buddhists believe that, or some of the Buddhists believe that the Bodhi tree is the Axis Mundi.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Sure.
And then like when it comes to sin, all sin is supposed to be taken in by Jesus on the cross, and it doesn't matter what time, location, or anything. It all automatically goes to that location.
That's bodhisattva. That's what a bodhisattva does. Exactly that. And he would come back to serve, to help and liberate others. To offer them salvation, to help them they have to on their own kind of find it, right? It's kind of like the Socratic approach in that sense, I guess, where you can maybe ask them questions and kind of point things out, but ultimately they've got to do the work themselves to a lot of it comes down to, as Tesla talked about as well, vibration and frequency. But then liberation is like where you kind of you free yourself entirely, so you're not attached to anything. You're just gone. That's why I think what Brian Rue, I think your good friend Brian Rue, Roger. What he is your friend, isn't he? What he with NDEs, near death experiences, which is something we hit on and brought up in class today because it's one of those things that intrigues me, and I think is worth discussing and sharing more knowledge of, perhaps. But you got these personal testimonies. Watch your I'm gonna mute you out there. Who the hell is that? That's Sonia.
That's probably me.
You're rolling she's rolling another doobie. I know what she's up to. I wish I was, but just free and clean. It's a new title I came up with the other day. A song idea, free and clean. Kind of working on that. But with
Brian Rue, actually, I mean, to be honest, I had an excellent interview with him.
NDEs, yeah. But what he said, just to I'll cut it short here, just to to finish the point that that's why people don't see Buddha when they have these NDE experiences. They see Christ, they meet Christ a lot of times, or something that seems to suggest to them that it's Jesus. Some celestial manifestation, light body, or what have you, but Buddha is gone. Like he's gone off the wheel of rebirth. That's the whole point, right? He's not coming back. So chances are, no, you're not going to see him. You will see different celestial, like helpers, angels, bodhisattvas, and so forth, and Christ or what have you, but not Buddha. That was what Brian argued, and I think he made a great point. It was something I was hoping that the monk would pick up on, but because I kind of set that one up for him the other day. We were talking briefly, touched on NDE experience, and I forget how he responded to it exactly, but yeah, so what with the interview you had with Brian, then what would you like to say?
No, I mean he's very, very intellectual. He knows he knows his stuff when it comes to Buddhism, and like he's the only person I've actually met who talked about he's the only one who talked about the manatees.
Mantids?
Yeah, the mantids, the aliens.
Well, but Robert Morningstar talks about he had a mantid, I think, experience.
Not like Brian, dude.
Brian had an experience too?
Brian talks about it all the time.
Well, he's totally into this whole celestial realm business and UFOs, aliens, interdimensionals, and what's going on that end of things. So yeah, I mean, and let's we can, before we finish up, let's just revisit that point again. I'll let you say what you want here, just to kind of wrap up, if you have anything more to add within this context. But the apocalyptic times we find ourselves living in, both for better and for worse, that it's how stupid does somebody have to be, and just to think that, yeah, look at all the stars out there in this universe, and we're the only planet, we're the only kind of species or entity of this kind. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, I don't understand. Other than what we have is organized religion that conditions people to it captures their consciousness, and there has long been, it seems, this war for hearts and minds. There's no doubt about that. But our consciousness, so that, well, like Goethe himself talked about it, it is the best slave is the one that thinks themselves to be free. Kind of like the allegory of the cave, right?
See, this is what separates me from a lot of people who are into the religions. Okay, now I've done research into paganism, and I mean the primordial. Okay,
primordial realm,
all of it. Now, when it comes to the human race, we kind of set ourselves up on this thing, because with the primordial, you have to understand, when it comes to paganism and the primordial, out of chaos comes order.
That's totally Masonic, order ab chaos, Masonic motto, the 32nd or 33rd degree.
But that originated with primordial belief systems.
Okay.
And you find that in like the world tree, which is before Yggdrasil. Just to put it out there, like the Slavs practiced it.
They did what? I'm sorry, practice what?
They practiced the worship of the world tree.
Oh, Yggdrasil.
No, Yggdrasil is Viking.
Well, it's the same idea, essentially,
right.
isn't
it? It's just the same concept, yeah. But like, it goes back even older than that.
Okay.
Like,
well, yeah. Look at the Buddha. And Buddha, where was he sitting?
The
right.
Bodhi tree, yes, perfect.
Becoming enlightened. He's finally reached enlightenment. What did he do? He reached down and touched the earth. Why did he do that?
No. Now look at the symbolism about that. Okay. Now you have the roots of the world tree. Okay. And that's the primordial. And out of this primordial mud and water came the roots of the world tree, which sprung up, and that ascended up. And the middle of the branches is our world. And then the crown is the heavens. Okay. This is all set up to characterize the whole idea of the chaos, and that's down by the roots, and that feeds off of suffering, pain, and stuff like that. And in order for somebody to ascend, they have to be able to climb the world tree. You see, and through the trials and tribulations, they're reborn into something new.
That's pretty cool. How did you come up with this on your own?
No, this is what I've been learning.
Who presented that to you?
I had to first, when I first got interested into it, what I had to do is I had to learn about the cosmic egg philosophy. That
through who? Like through who?
Ancient Greeks and the Phoenicians believed in it.
Have you studied read any Emanuel Swedenborg?
No.
Rosicrucians?
No. Okay.
I see. Ancient Greeks mythology.
You know the story of Troy, right?
Kind of, yeah. It actually was apparently discovered, but I got to fact check that one. But so the story goes, 1850s.
Now, Paris, who was in charge of Troy, abducted
Helen.
Yeah, Helen.
Right.
Now Helen is a twin. She had a twin sister.
Didn't
and
know that.
They were both born of an egg.
Oh, from the sky?
Mm-hmm.
No, from the sky?
Yeah, it descended from the sky.
Oh my God! Do you know what? Oh my God! How many examples of that can we find here in South Korea? You look up the Gaia Confederacy, man. This is huge. Like this is one of my hobby horse kind of areas. Same thing with descending from the sky. The founders of the Gaia Confederacy. Look it up right now if in real time if you like, people. Gaya. And where does that Gaia come from? It comes from India, I would argue. Rather, it's a hypothesis of mine, and the reason I say that, one of the reasons, is because the founding king, King Surowang, who came from the egg from the sky with his 4 or 5 brothers, they all landed and jumped out. That he married an Indian princess is how the story goes. She was about 16 or so when she came from, and then from that you can imagine what happened: international trade, international relations, and flourishing for, I mean, the Gaia Confederacy. So it was broken up. There's little provinces surrounding it, and it was a linchpin in itself, right at the bottom, right on the ocean. So they had access to, they were able to access the sea and engage in trade and commerce, exploration and exchange of not only goods but also ideas too, concepts. And it's one of the reasons I believe why I've been finding, I haven't looked all that much, but there's things that pop up where it's like, oh well, that's Sanskrit, things like in Korean, and then it's like, oh well, that's also English. These are old words. It's not something like this came around in the last, post the Korean War in 1950s, but something that goes way back into the mists of time. But yeah, I mean, how many others? And I talk to my students sometimes about this. Like, what would you think if you looked out the window today and you saw this egg, this big round egg coming down from the sky? What would you think that was? And most of my students, like, it's really interesting how they're so, I don't know. It's like they're kind of slow and clueless. These are almost like, these are adults in some cases too. Not everybody gets it right away. What would you think? Like, Sonia, maybe Roger, maybe you guys don't even get it. It's pretty obvious though, isn't it? Like, I would have a guess. I may be wrong, but what would you think that
really
was? You don't get it, Sonia. You don't get it. If we looked out our window today and saw this round thing, kind of twirling and whirling and rotating around.
I've actually done that before.
You've seen an egg that has been in the sky and kind of slowly.
There were 2 eggs. There were 2 eggs slowly riding in unison together across the sky.
How far from you?
Well, gosh, I really don't know. I just looked out my front door.
When?
I was living near the Superstition Mountains, so that might have something to do with it.
Which mountains?
The Superstition Mountains in
Superstition?
Arizona. They're called the Superstition Mountains.
In Arizona?
Phoenix. Yeah, well, it's in Mesa. It's kind of the same area.
Mesa.
Really,
that's an interesting part of the world, isn't it? Mesa Desert, Mesa Plains, Mesa. There's Indians that live in that area too.
Desert too. It's all desert territory for the most part. But the whole thing is that when I opened the door, I was trying to talk to this young child who was asking me about my children who live there. And I looked up and there were 2 eggs. They were egg shaped, literally egg shaped. And they were kind of tilted a little bit backwards, like to the right.
Was this a real child that you knew, or some kid showed up at your door?
It was a child in the neighborhood.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Well, you saw 2 UFOs.
Yeah, apparently.
Because you don't know, you don't know what they were, but they were certainly very abnormal. You don't see those sort of things every day.
Really, really odd. Although that was when I first got together with Jeff, who filmed UFOs. So it was kind of an everyday experience to see UFOs at that particular point in time. But it was that was one of the more odder UFOs.
With Jeff, you saw UFOs almost on a daily basis?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What?
That's right.
So and there's for some reason then because because ever since he was a child, he's been having these. He's like a total contactee.
Yep, for sure.
That's bizarre, incredible.
Yeah, super.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
super crazy. Just imagine living that life, though. It's
is
like
he? Is he? Yeah.
fun,
Well, okay. Well, okay. I mean, did anything go awry, or I mean, it was a generally positive experience, wasn't it?
As far as our home life went, everything was pretty much normal, which was also a trip. I'm sure you can imagine that, having a normal home life,
That
but seeing UFOs every time you walk out the door
yeah.
is just
How many?
like, what is going on,
Wow. And how many did you photograph or
I
video?
I didn't.
Well, why
That was
not?
his specialty. That was his specialty.
So he does have
Uh,
a number a lot. He does. How much video content does he have that he's put together on his own filming these?
Probably over 200 hours, I'm sure. Easy,
So he was actually there from the get go, right at the inception of the UFO Hunters series, was he not? He was involved in that
Yeah,
from the
that
start.
was the thing. Yeah, before
I,
that
I,
even started, the
I saw
dudes came
him.
to our house and we're hanging out.
Bill
Yep.
Burns came as well.
Bill Burns did not come, but Patrick Uskert or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
That Patrick guy. Yeah, he was
was
there. He was one of his friends.
was
I
he
mean,
the
that's what.
was he the scientist?
I'm not sure what they call
Okay.
him on the show, but he's on
Okay.
the show.
Great
So
series. If people can access that through
it is a good
torrents
series.
or whatever,
Yep.
UFO
Right.
Hunters. Now, here's the thing, because this kind of is a callback. It kind of circles back to what I'd kind of like to at least just get out there once again, because we're going to be revisiting the subject with Richard Sauder this Saturday night, 8 p.m. in
Sweet.
Pacific Standard Time, 11 the East, 12 noon here. And Zane Ivy will be happy to hear this because he's been wanting us to see if we can line something up, and Richard's been more than happy to
Sweet.
Awesome. Come on board and be a part of things. So we're really excited for sure, because he's I don't know how he's managed to do all of his research and get his information, but he's done a hell of a job, and he's also, it seems, his life has been in danger for some time. Well, look at the number of scientists and high level, the ranking investigators, people that have had top secret clearance and security. That they've been, how many have gone missing now in the past few weeks? 10 or 12. It's crazy, man. Something
I don't
really
even know.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
No, I have not.
Okay, so let's hope. I mean, so we got to pray for Richard and these others, of course, and hope. We've seen in the past, if you think about it, there's like these bankers. Suddenly you hear stories, and there's another banker that's just kind of nose diving out of a high level hotel room, the 20th floor or whatever. It's like, and it's like there's another. What, these are these investment bankers? Amazing. Why would they, just committing official suicide, right? So they're unaliving themselves. And then it was like the naturopaths, the whole group of naturopaths that all together in a cluster, these cluster of deaths, all suicide, of course, or natural causes. Nothing, no foul play.
Something mysteriously happened that was natural.
Wink,
could have happened
nudge,
anyway.
nudge. And then there's the scientists, like viral, that scientists whose expertise is in viruses, biology, bio science and what have you. That was a big thing for a while too. And then we had the whole COVID-19 scandemic, that I mean, just utterly, they murdered so many people. Would they just Epstein has now come out. Have you seen in the Epstein files? The reason I would argue that Trump has staged this major distraction via Iran, and Iran has called it out properly. They've said, it's like, you and the Epstein class are the ones who are behind this. They want to be too anti-Semitic, as it were, so they're careful with their phrasing. make of it what you will, folks, with the Epstein class, what, pedophiles and what have you, to the to the max, but just a little too overly interested in underaged women. So, and I'd be interested in
And
knowing
boys.
what women, speaking of women, what women were actually predators along with Ghislaine. There had to have been more. There were fixers for sure.
Yeah, which is even harder to believe, really.
Oh, no, not really, because there's women.
No.
There's some women, like, you look. Well, look at the women, like,
Well,
in
usually women
school,
have
the school
maternal
system,
instincts, you know?
the school system. They prey upon their students. Time and again, you find these news stories. It's a female
Yeah, well, usually
teacher.
women have maternal instincts, which tend to go against that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Or they
Obviously,
get out of control.
apparently that's what has happened. Something to that effect, for sure.
And some people argue, oh, these people can never be reformed or what have you. But I look at it. I'm no expert, of course, but I think it's more like a spectrum. There's a whole variety of reasons why people kind of cross that line, or just have. First of all, you start fantasizing about it, I suppose, and it's
Well,
just again and
I
again.
wouldn't say you,
You
but
keep feeding it. Pardon me.
you know.
Pardon
Well,
me.
when you went to say it, you said you start fantasizing about it,
I'm
and
I'm not saying
was
you. I'm saying
trying to point
people.
out that
One in
you. I
general.
wouldn't say you. Those people start
No, you don't
fantasizing
understand
about
my
that.
use of the term "you" is one in
No, I
general,
do understand that.
right?
I do. Or
You, like
actually, I
one in
understand
general,
it. I don't
one
understand
does.
it.
So that's how
Yes,
you,
what one may do, what others may do, kind of
right?
thing.
Well,
Yep,
what
that was my only
what would
point.
happen?
Call me
How?
crazy.
Yeah, people no expert, but it's like you feed it and you fantasize, you down, and then you go to the underage, and then even a little more underage. The easily accessible, porn sites, and that's one of the big problems is the internet. The internet. I've been watching
Yeah,
lately a little
for
bit
sure.
of Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator, and then there's another. Oh, it's great. I downloaded the whole torrent thing, and I've been watching it, trying to understand the psychology of what's going, why they cross the line, why they start in the first place, why they feed it, and how some are just they're gone. Like, I don't think they'll never be redeemed or in any way, no matter what. And I think some, it really, it's too bad because of the miscarriage of justice that we do find taking place all too often. Remember, legal systems, it has very little to do with justice. Justice is quite secondary within the context of a legal system. Let's not kid ourselves. But chemical castration, definitely, I see nothing wrong with that, frankly. Like, just they need to have their balls cut off, basically, so they'll stop
Yeah,
doing it. No, really, seriously. There's some that are
yeah.
incurable, and that's the extreme. But then there's a kind of a more middle where it's like, geez, can they, through therapy and what have you, and
Just because their
or
balls are cut off, though, doesn't mean that they're not going to injure
prey upon,
children.
yeah.
You
Well,
know.
yeah, and that sort of thing scars kids for life. You can just imagine, right?
Well,
It
sure it
does.
does. Yeah. I
So
mean, come on.
yeah, what you can overcome it though too. I'm sure, like, it depending on the scale, how extreme it is, and some of the survivor stories are just mind blowing.
They are.
What they have overcome. It's just wow, just like they're so
Yep.
strong, obviously,
Yep.
and others
Yeah.
just they're not.
You have
Others can't
to.
handle it, and they off themselves. They just can't. They just
That's
check.
right.
They can't handle it anymore. But it's all
Sure.
karma. It's all karma from the Buddhist
Or
perspective. It's all
just suffer
karma.
hell the entire time they're conscious and not knowing what
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
That's why
Well.
others are. It's so important to get help for stuff like
Yep.
that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. We have one student in our adult class who's been struggling with depression as of late, and
Yeah.
Korea. There's all kinds of mental problems in this country, just like anywhere else, really. So,
Right. Right.
and we talked about it a little bit, and just trying to give him some, to help him kind of feel like, because support networks are so critical. That's one of the reasons
Yes.
we're
They
here.
are.
To provide a voice, and
Mhm.
we act, whether you realize it or not. We're bodhisattvas, in the sense that where we help to provide, or facilitate certain
Mhm.
ways that people can solve their problems. and get maybe the help they're looking for or the answers that they seek and
Or at
point them
least a
in the
little
right
bit of
direction.
inspiration as well,
Yep. Yep.
inspired to
Yep.
look for such things,
That's right. That's right.
and to let folks know they're not alone. I
There
mean,
you
this
go.
is not it's not something that you have to endure by yourself,
Yeah.
really. I mean, you
Right.
just got to reach out,
Right. Yeah. Yep. So, okay, well, we only got a couple minutes here. SonyaGalactic.com. Oh, and this whole business of the hybrid, I never finished the point earlier with the UFO hunters and the hybrid. That's why they got shut down. They were going gangbusters, third season, and because they stumbled upon
right?
what appeared to be a hybrid, like an ET human hybrid program, that led to them being shut down, even though they had huge ratings. They were huge
Yeah,
ratings, hugely
for sure.
popular,
Which
and
is odd, because why would they shut them down?
they had
If
they
they've
had
got
like
such good ratings,
they had like Mercedes Benz, all these big car commercials and everything. It's like big money, and then
Yeah.
because they stumbled upon
Mhm.
these what appeared to be official documents pertaining to what Richard Sauter and others now, because you can find it on YouTube where it's coming out. You've got certain Republican, it's really ballsy. There's a Republican southern Texas, I think, or something, one of those southern states, and Congress Tim Burchett. People may have heard of. Wow, I got a lot of respect. My pirate hat goes off to that guy. So, but they've been taking these immigrants, I guess, illegals probably, and having them essentially mate with some ET type. It's just disgusting. And the thing is, the more that this comes out, the more that there's to answer for, and the more corruption will be revealed. It's the apocalyptic agenda, frankly, and that we can't help it because we're going to call them out. They'd rather that we just be ignorant of everything and ignore what's unfolding. And there is a lot of chaos that the likes of Trump and Kushner are, what they're pursuing as a distraction, but also the chance to cash in and prove just how greedy they really are with the insider trading and so forth, as far as weapons investment and the war machine stocks, getting kind of the inside track to when the war was going to kick off, essentially, and how the stocks really shot up.
Yeah, it's really nuts, though.
There.
What's going on for sure.
So we'll see. We'll see. Are the boots on the ground or not? And it's just you think the U.S. Trump would focus more on improving? Is that the best way of improving the domestic economy? And what about ending the Fed and this private for-profit, interest debt
It's all a
laden?
show, Jeffy. That's all a show.
Yeah.
It always
Well,
has been.
yeah.
You
Well, it's
know.
a fraud too, though, from the time founding of the Federal
Yeah,
Reserve. Similar thing
that's
in
my
Canada, the Royal
show.
Bank of Canada. Who do we have now? He's not the head of state, but because the king essentially is, I guess,
It goes on
Charles.
everywhere.
But Carney, it is a carnival show for sure, and
Yep.
he was the former head of the Bank of England, if you can believe that, and now has been appointed prime minister. I wouldn't say he won the election. It's just it's highway
Can
robbery,
anyone win an election? Really? I don't think so. That's me.
free and fair.
I don't
My
think so.
ass, yeah. All right,
Unfortunately.
SonnyGalactic.com. They're going to
Yep.
shut us
Yep.
off here in a minute or two. What? I'm not sure what happened to Roger.
Galacticfire.com. Galacticfire.com.
I got there
He
on
took
Galactic.
off, I guess. Yeah.
And remember, fuck it all. When you at the point where you
Uh,
want to throw your hands up in exasperation, don't worry about it. Just take a nice healthy dose of fuck it all, and
that can be
everything
empowering,
will be
for sure.
just fine. We
That's right.
we need to, I'll send you the link, I guess, here after the show, just and you can see, and just we emblazoned on T-shirts and coffee mugs. I like to promote that in a big way for sure. And you know that Courtney Turner? Have you seen the picture of her that she put together? She's like the
Mm-mm.
pirate queen, man. She totally got the
What?
pirate queen. Oh yeah, you haven't seen that? I got to find that picture and send it to you. I should have tagged you on X. What's your handle on X? Is it just Galactic Fire?
It's Galactic Fire, yeah.
Okay. I got to remember to do it. I got so many things to do, and I don't write this down. And then I see my guitar there, and it's like, I got to play guitar. I have to write it.
You gotta play guitar, Jeffy. You gotta do that. That's your new show for sure.
Your thing is like the tattoos, like the tattoo zone, which is you're going gangbusters there, I guess, right? Doing really well.
Bit. I have been lately, yes, absolutely.
We got 30 seconds. They're going to cut us off. Be cool to get a little more tarot reading here maybe next time we meet up, too. Be ready with those cards.
Hey,
see what we got.
I'm not opposed to that.
All right.
We can do that.
Sure. All right. Well, great talking with you. Happy sailing. We'll see you again here shortly. So hopefully this Friday. Peace out, man.
Right on. Yeah.
All right. Tally ho. So there goes Sonia Galactic. There goes Roger Hansen and Jaffe Ryder. So cutting through the matrix with Alan Watt. You want to check out some great quality shows, folks? Look no further than that. Alan Watt, Cutting Through the Matrix. He passed away a couple of years ago. Not sure the circumstances exactly. Had something to do with his health. Really unfortunate. He was not much older. He was in his mid to late 50s, actually, and it's just a tragic set of circumstances. But it's a great reminder too, and he did leave behind an excellent library of high quality reading and research material. So that's why we're encouraging everyone to drop by, take a look at what he's got to offer there, the free archives that still remain and are in place. You'll get a real great overview sense of the bigger picture, as it were, and how it is that we've managed to get to this point in time, why we're even still here in the first place. People, such as him are not in a physical sense. He's left something behind, though. There's no doubt about that. Quite a legacy. So leave your mark. Make it a good one too, if you can, I guess. But truth of the matter is, we're all here to go. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, Iran targets Israel's top secret nuclear site, Dimona. Oh, interesting. Interesting, huh? All right. Nick Pope. Speaking of how we're all here, we're here to go. Nick Pope. He was very cool. I really loved the work that he did, and I guess you'd say in some ways his courage, but the insight that he had to offer regarding the world of ufology, largely, all its implications. Former high-level, was it MI5 insider who was tasked with the all things dealing with this world of UFOs, people in the various sightings that would occur across the UK and presumably beyond. Just another, somebody who made the most of his time, presumably ended up in Arizona, I guess, married to an American lady. So thoughts and condolences, deepest, sincerest condolences to her. But I really do believe we all do meet again. That's the interesting thing. We all do meet again, for better or for worse. And the reason I say that with such confidence is because of having looked at these NDE testimonies. Some people have a hellish type experience similar to what happens when you maybe overdo it with your dosage of psychedelics, whatever they may be. It's like a really bad trip. You got to be careful on that front. Microdosing, something we brought up today again in class. Mushrooms in particular, I would argue that probably most therapeutic and the best. For people, it seems there are these reports now, PTSD and alcoholism. So a lot of talk of ayahuasca as well. Let's not forget. So depression, PTSD, uh, alcoholism, things along those lines. That kind of it's a one-time deal too. If it's done properly, proper set of circumstances, timing, and you approach things with the right attitude. I know that was my I before I ever ended up becoming experienced in that particular area, experienced to some degree, that I read Alan Watts and Aldous Huxley, tried to just research and investigate as much as I could regarding the whole matter, doors of perception. When the doors of perception are cleansed, men and women presumably will see things as they truly are, infinite. That's so the story goes where the Doors, Jim Morrison and friends, Ray Manzarek, John Densmore, and Robbie Krieger. That's where they came up with a name. So, gotta squeegee clean that third eye. Heroic dose. Heroic dose. I don't know. That's maybe a little too much, not necessary. But that's why the whole business of microdosing is seemed to have caught on as of late. One thing that government perhaps it does not seem to be overly enthusiastic towards, given the fact that what they are all through the ages have been dedicated to exerting mind control, essentially hijacking of consciousness, waging war on our consciousness, battle for hearts and minds. So sometimes, we have these insights where we discover things are a little bit different than the way that we've been told they are, or the way that we thought or assumed they were. Not sure who came up with this whole business. Was it Blaise Pascal, the tabula rase, the clean slate approach? Probably onto something. Right around the time when, and this is something I'm really quite fascinated with, Schopenhauer really stands out in this area. Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, making its way from the East. And it was the Theravadan to begin with, that scrolls and scholastic work was being done. It might have even been the Jesuits. You can do a quick chat GPT search and come up with some good places. Like, as with Wikipedia, the way I look at things on that front, that chat GPT, which I'm not a huge fan of exactly, but they provide at least jumping off points where you can delve further into certain areas, topics that you're wanting to explore. So, but there we go. We could go on it at some length. I gotta call it a day here, though, and it's getting late out on the east coast of the Americas, of course. Early morning hours of Thursday. It's 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon here via South Korea, Seoul, Tokyo time. We never ran our CanaSense cannabis or Red Dragon teas promo blurb this week. That's just the way it goes sometimes, I guess. Not a problem. I don't think we're going to do it now exactly. But just as a reminder, WPRPN.com is the website. we will direct your attention to. It's down right now. Why that is, we're not sure. Somebody's got to know. And we're doing all we can here to maintain something of a presence. If we can just get our conversations that we have here archived up online for people, that's a huge benefit, of course. That's a definite plus. Real live streaming end of things is helpful, always valued and appreciated, but the digital library archiving of the shows is, it has a lot to offer. Clearly, it's a more permanent sense of what people are able to engage. So, the pagan origin of Jesus story. Ooh, Rome invented the Gospels. Have you heard of the PISO conspiracy, folks? Look it up. PISO, PISO conspiracy. It's interesting. I myself, whatever the case, I still believe there was a Christ character. I don't know, was his name Yeshua? Maybe something like that. He had some name, and crucifixion was a pretty popular way of doing away with people. The Romans, they seemed to just think that was a wonderful thing to do anytime someone became too much of a problem, found guilty of having committed a crime or what have you. But no, I very much believe there was a Christ-type character, and he had a family. I mean, did they make all that up too? His family and their stories as well too. There are certain gospels. There's Mary of Magda. I'm at the point now. I'm thinking she was from India. Actually, how many people have ever talked about that? So it's a hypothesis. Something maybe it would be interesting to hear Bart Ehrman's take on. Was it possible that she was from India? You look at where Buddhism originated. It came from I think it's called Magadha. And so maybe, I mean, Jesus disappeared at the age of 12, 18 missing years. He was the nephew of Joseph of Arimathea, from what I understand. Was Christ just a poor, lowly carpenter? Or maybe something a little more of higher standing, a social economic ladder. So, Shem Japheth. There's another good one. Oh, look, a little bit of music theory. Something, food for thought there, folks. For anyone who gets a kick out of playing music, guitar, maybe, a little piano. So, yeah, the 18 missing years. Had one of my young students wrote about the missing years recently. It was quite cute. It's what he wanted to write about. So the week before he wrote about Major League Baseball, but we got talking about the missing years. He's a church kind of kid. He's gone to church for years, but this is all new to him, rather. The missing years. John Prine's got a great song and album, actually, by that title. So not only someone whose album you should look into, I would recommend, but the work, the catalog of work that John put together over the years, pretty impressive. He was quite a character, a wordsmith, and just a great way of telling stories. Spinning a musical yarn. So, but there we go. Richard Sauter is what we're looking at here. Once again, this Saturday night, 8 p.m. on the west coast of the Americas, 11 on the east. That is 12 noon here. Saturday afternoon via the Seoul, Tokyo time zone. Check out WPRPN.com. Let's keep an eye on that. Hopefully gets back online here before too long. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com, our email address. Any PayPal help or otherwise, like to keep in touch. Until we meet again via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas, I'm your host as always, the show's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, reminding you to keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the sky. Tally ho!